Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's briefing at the Foreign Office. Thank you for joining us. We understand there has been a gap in our regular exchanges with the Foreign Office Media Corps since the departure of my predecessor. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation in the intervening period. I now hope to have regular media briefings. Let me begin with major diplomatic engagements during the last 2 weeks. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif led an official delegation to participate in COP27 World Leaders Summit on 6 to 8 November 2022 in Sharm el-Sheikh. Foreign Minister, Minister for Climate Change, Minister for Information, and Minister of State for Foreign Affairs accompanied the Prime Minister. In Sharm el-Sheikh, the PM had a busy agenda. He also co-chaired with Prime Minister of Norway and Egypt a high-level roundtable on climate change and sustainability of vulnerable communities. He attended Middle East Green Initiative Summit chaired by Saudi Arabia and an event on Green Shield against climate risk for loss and damages support, which was co-hosted by German Chancellor and President of Ghana. During these events, the Prime Minister briefed the participants on the state of flood-hit areas of Pakistan and government's actions for rehabilitation and reconstruction. He reiterated the need for international community for solidarity and cooperation in mitigating the impact of climate change on developing countries, including Pakistan. He underscored the importance of simplified, long-term climate financing instruments to help developing countries in mitigating adverse effects of climate change. The visit gave Pakistan an opportunity to highlight the climate-induced flood catastrophe in Pakistan on impact of climate change, particularly being faced by the developing countries. COP27 also provided an opportunity for the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister to engage with world leaders, exchange views on bilateral and regional issues of mutual concern, and mobilize international support and solidarity with Pakistan. The Prime Minister held meetings with UN Secretary General, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and the German Chancellor. He met with Crown Princes of Bahrain and Kuwait, foreign presidents of Estonia, Tajikistan, Iraq, UAE, and the European Council. Prime Ministers of Belgium, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Lebanon, and the Vice President of Indonesia, as well as Secretary General of Arab League and the Managing Director of IMF, interacted with the Prime Minister. Foreign Minister held meetings with his counterparts from Egypt, France, and the United Kingdom. He also held meetings with the Administrator of UNDP and Special Presidential Envoy of the US President on Climate. Similarly, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and Minister of Climate Change held meetings with key participants. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari undertook a visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on 9 to 10 November. During the visit, the Foreign Minister co-chaired the joint subcommittee meeting of inaugural session of the Ministerial Committee of the Political and Security Pillar of the Saudi-Pakistan Supreme Coordination Committee, SPSCC. The committee discussed political, economic, and security cooperation between the two countries. The two sides reaffirmed their strong commitment to further strengthen bilateral strategic relationship. During the talks, regional issues of mutual interest and the role of OIC were also discussed. In Saudi Arabia, the Prime Minister also held a meeting with the Secretary General of the GCC to discuss bilateral ties between Pakistan and GCC countries. They discussed regional situation on Afghanistan and recent floods in Pakistan with focus on Pakistan-GCC cooperation to mitigate the impact of climate change. They agreed to revitalize the dialogue between Pakistan and GCC, which is an important partner for Pakistan, with special focus on security, political, trade and investment, and food security and agriculture. The European Union Commissioner for Migration and Home Affairs, Ulva Johansson, visited Pakistan from 13th to 14th November 2022. During the visit, the EU Commissioner visited Peshawar Bala Hisar Fort on 13th November and held meetings with relevant authorities on border management. On 14th November 2022, she held meetings with the Secretary, Ministry of Overseas Pakistanis, Secretary Interior, and Secretary Federal Education and Professional Training in Islamabad. She also called on the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Her Excellency Hina Rabbani Khar. Her meeting was followed by a joint stakeout that I understand you all attended. The EU Commissioner's visit focused on migration-related matters, including readmission, return of illegal migrants, and implementation of Pak-EU readmission agreement. She also announced launch of Pakistan-EU Migration and Mobility Dialogue in the first half of next year. This dialogue was envisaged in the strategic engagement plan signed between Pakistan and EU in 2019. Pakistan and EU will thus be working together in the coming months on defining new legal and safe pathways of migration from Pakistan to EU countries. In a positive development, United Kingdom has officially removed Pakistan from its list of high-risk third countries. The step has been taken in accordance with the decision taken by Financial Action Task Force, FATF, on 21 October 2022. The FCO, the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, recognized the progress made by Pakistan to improve money laundering and terrorist financing controls. We welcome this step and hope that other countries would also follow and recognize Pakistan's efforts in this context. On the verdict in 2021 Dasu terrorist attack, we have taken note of the judgment and highlighted the proactive investigation, prosecution, and judgment in this case, which has once again demonstrated Pakistan's abiding commitment to counter terrorism. We once again extend deepest condolences to the victims' families and remain committed to the safety and security of Chinese workers, projects, and institutions in Pakistan, and believe that ironclad Pakistan-China all-weather strategic cooperative partnership will never be undermined by hostile forces. You may have also seen our remarks regarding Indian media reports quoting Director General IAEA that the firing of BrahMos nuclear-capable missile into Pakistani territory from India was not a cause of any specific concern for IAEA. We have termed this report as a disingenuous attempt by the Indian-sponsored media to absolve India of its irresponsible nuclear behavior by directing this question at the Director General of IAEA. We believe that DG IAEA's statement should have been qualified by stating that IAEA has no mandate on such matters. But the Director General's response cannot be purposely misinterpreted to trivialize the incident of a nuclear-capable BrahMos missile fire with grave implications for regional and global security. India needs to explain several repeated incidents of nuclear and radioactive material theft and illicit trafficking that are more relevant to the IAEA mandate. These critical questions, which remain unanswered, should continue to be a concern to the international community. Coming to the situation in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan wishes to remind the world that the only durable solution to the Jammu and Kashmir dispute lies in holding a free and impartial plebiscite as espoused in relevant UN Security Council resolutions to enable the people of Kashmir to exercise their right of self-determination. The world must speak with one voice to urge India to desist from altering the demographics of IIOJK through coercion and by unilateral and illegal means. It must immediately restore the special status of IIOJK and undo all subsequent legal and administrative measures that aim to rob the Kashmiri people of their democratic majority and their ethnic identity. Pakistan will always extend its full support to the Kashmiri people in their just struggle for freedom from 75 years of brutal Indian oppression. That concludes my written remarks, and now we will move to Q&A questions. Thank you.